The march to 100 continues. What is this, 93? Something like that? We're getting there. This is common knowledge. We're taking a look at common cards, telling you if they're good in Pauper or not. So let's start with our first card. It's Nimbus Wings, 1 and a white for an enchantment aura that enchants a creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+2 and has flying. From Zendikar. It's a pretty normal card, but it's, you get a holy strength and, what's the white one that it's like Gift of Flight or something? Is that that's like a blue card, right? Gift of Flight. It's not even a card at all. I don't know what I'm thinking of. Anyway, doesn't really matter. You get a holy light, or not a holy light, a holy strength, plus a thing that gives flying, and you pay 2 mana for it. I don't hate it. It's not particularly great, but I don't hate it. Let's give it a 2.5. Next up, Breath Stealer. I know we have talked. We've had Urborg Panther before. Have we had Urborg Panther or have we had Feral Shadow? I can't remember which, but Breath Stealer is another one in the 3 that gets you Spirit of the Night. Love Spirit of the Night. What a classic Magic card. The problem is these 3 are all commons and this is rare. So Pauper, the 3 thing doesn't work. Like on Urborg Panther, you can sack those 3 guys. You get to tutor up a Spirit of the Night and put it on the board, which is really cool. But Breath Stealer alone is not so good. It's it's 2 and a black for a 2/2 Night Stalker. You can pay a black, and this creature gets +1/-1 until end of turn. So the best you can hope for without changing the creature even more is to make this a 3/1 to block or to attack. Maybe it trades better that way, or if your opponent doesn't have anything on their side, then you can just do 3 damage instead. Okay, it's fine, but 3 mana to get something like this on, I'm not really sure. Love the art, one of my favorite arts, but it's not. This is not a Pauper All-Star here. Let's give it a. Man, yeah, it's really pretty bad, isn't it? I'm gonna give it a 1.7. And a Disciple. I was just touching this card, 4 days ago, something like that. It's a single green mana for a 1/1 human wizard. You can pay a blue and tap it, and target creature gets flying until end of turn. Or you can tap a black. You can pay a black and tap it to give target creature -2, -0 until end of turn. I think that's fun. You get this kind of Sultai deck going on. You're able to do a lot of things with it. Maybe you get a prophetic prism out on the board, and now you can use any of these abilities, and that's cool. Neither of these abilities are that incredible, but they're also not too bad either. You either blank an opponent's power, or you give something fly on over. That's fun. I like really nice utility 1-drops. Those are cool. They give you a lot of things to do, and that's nice. It's not a great card. I'm not gonna give it anything more than like a 2.6 maybe, but it's a card I like. I also really like this art. I love that the shadow of the hand is on the face. That's just nice. Good job, Daryl. Good job. Our next card is War Screecher. 1 and a white for a 1/3 bird with flying. You can pay 5 and a white and tap it to have other creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. This is pretty bad. That's a lot of mana to pay to give an anthem just for the turn to all your other creatures. So you're not even getting your flyer to get bigger. Ugh. Good art on this one too, but 2 mana for a 1/3 flyer that way late in the game can give a just okay anthem effect. I don't love it. I don't really like it much at all. Let's give it a 2.2 and keep going. Shoe Farmer. Portal 3 Kingdoms, baby. So excited. 1 and a white for a 1/1 human, and you can tap this and you gain a life, but you can activate it only during your turn before your attacks are declared. I need to get better at speaking on these. This is not a good card. It's certainly not worth $2.25. And the only reason it costs that much is because it's part of a pretty rare set. I have a copy of this because I specifically have a Karlov of the Ghost Council commander deck, and it's nice to be able to tap this guy just to get a life whenever you need. It's a little overcosted for that, but hey, it's a Portal 3 Kingdoms card. Nobody sees those, so it's fun to play it and have everybody go, what the hell's that? In Pauper, nah. 2 mana for a 1/1 that can gain you 1 life a turn. Nah. This guy is a 1.3. But it's nice to see him. Oh, double Portal 3 Kingdoms cards! Hell yeah! This one's a little bit more expensive. $10.71. Youch. For Zodiac Dog, 2 and a red for a 2/2 dog with Mountain Walk. That's literally all it does. It's a grizzly bear with Mountain Walk, and it costs you an extra mana. Yep. Yeah. This is... I'm gonna say this is honestly even worse than the Shoe Farmer. This is a 1.1. It's pretty bad. It's cool. There's a red dog. I like it, but not for Pauper. Vidalcan Dismisser is 5 and a blue for a 2/2 Vidalcan Wizard. And when this creature enters, you put target creature on top of its owner's library. Well, that costs quite a bit. 6 mana for a 2/2. It's pretty bad. We thought it was pretty bad for that last card, costing 3 for a 2/2. But this is a little better. You get a time ebb kind of effect, and if you blink this, you can really screw up your opponent. But the initial investment is just so high. It's just so high. I don't think you can get over that. It's really it's really a big cost. And for that, we've got to dock it quite a few points, and I think it ends up, I don't know, at like a 2. It's not great. Thrive is kind of a cool card. X and green for a sorcery. Put a 1/1 counter on each of up to X target creatures. Pretty simple, but also pretty effective. It is 2 mana to put a 1/1 counter on 1 creature. That's not very good. But it's 3 mana to put 2 1/1 counters on a creature, or one put a +1/+1 counter on 2 target creatures. That's okay. And then I think the more you go up, the better this math works out for you. It's all right. I'm gonna say that it is all right. Originally from Prophecy. Wow. Not a whole lot of good Prophecy cards out there, but they still make this one today. Double Masters, Dissension, it's shown up in some places. And I like this new art. This is some cool art. It doesn't see a whole lot of playability in Pauper. What deck really needs this? Can't really think of one. Elves doesn't want this. They'd rather just get another elf on the board. The individual elves don't have to have +1/+1 counters to really do a whole lot. You get, what is it, the Timberwatch or whatever elf it is that just makes all the other ones bigger makes one bigger based on the number of elves you got. Yeah, it's a neat card, but it's not going to be anything higher than like a 2.5. Let's keep going. I don't know if I even marked that one down. Maybe you'll get another free card. Who knows? Gearsmith Guardian is 5 mana for a 3/5 artifact creature construct. This creature gets +2/+0 as long as you control a blue creature. So it's a 5/5 for 5 if you control a blue creature. Blue is not the best color for creatures. There's some okay ones, but I guess this is pretty good in a general sense of a blue deck, that, hey, you don't have a lot of good creatures, but if you have a blue creature out, then you're able to play this guy, and you get a pretty good rate on this. 5 mana for a 5/5. Okay. In Pauper, still, it's not good. It's not good. This guy doesn't have any evasion. There's too many ways to just take out the blue creatures and nerf this guy quite a bit. And yeah, it's pretty bad. Let's give it a. I think it's worse than Thrive. Let's give it a 1.8. Wilt is 1 and a green for an instant. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, and it can cycle. You know, not too bad for a naturalize effect. There's plenty out there. We've certainly seen better ones, and there's some that feels like we had back-to-back sets that were just awesome ones. We had a Tarkir one, and then we had an Avatar. I guess those are not exactly back-to-back, but they're close. So we have better. I think we have better effects than this, but it does cycle, and that's not too bad. You could main deck this where you wouldn't main deck the other ones, knowing that it could cycle, but you have it when you need it. That's kind of something. I mean, I'm going to give it a 5. I think this is Pauper playable. It just has to be in the super specific deck that like really needs to discard cards. Not sure there's a deck like that in green. Cycle Storm doesn't really need this. I don't know. It's nice though. Cycling is nice. Cycling is a nice ability. 2 mana to discard a card and draw a card. At instant speed, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. So we'll just keep my score of a 5 and move on. Crawl from the Cellar is a single black mana for a sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target zombie you control. And it has flashback for 3 and a black. Interesting. So it's a raised dead with a little bit of extra gravy on it. +1/+1 counter for a zombie you control. Black Sacrifice has a lot of zombies in it. Carrion Feeder would always like another +1/+1 counter. That's fine. And you get back an Infestation Sage. You play the Infestation Sage. You get another 2 counters on your Carrion Feeder. That's okay. And the flashback cost. It's always nice to have flashback on some cards like this. That even if the flashback cost is 4 times as much, like it is here, it's still cool that if this did get milled into your graveyard, or if you did end up having a turn where you couldn't really play anything and you just have all this mana laying around, go grab a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on a guy. I don't hate it. I really don't. We probably have more efficient cards that do this kind of effect in Pauper. It's been a while since I've looked at a mono black sack list, but it's all right. It's all right. And I'm going to give it an all right score. I'm going to give it a 4.6. Let's get ourselves a bonus card and then get the hell out of here. Blazing Bomb is a Final Fantasy card. It's a single red mana for a 1/1 elemental. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. It also has Blow Up, so you can tap and sack this guy, and it deals damage equal to its power to target creature, but activate only as a sorcery. I don't really like the sorcery thing. That kind of sucks. But I dig these guys, these spend at least 4 mana spell guys, and we saw a whole lot in Lorwyn Eclipsed as well. But it was also a big feature of I think that was the red and blue archetype in Final Fantasy. It's also the red and blue archetype in Lorwyn Eclipse. So maybe that's just kind of what they are trying to push into, even though wants to be very broken stuff in Standard right now. But at least for the limited environment, they're pushing this. And I think this guy is fun in Limited. I don't think I don't want to say there's no 4 mana spells and up stuff that happens in Pauper. Affinity decks can certainly take advantage of this, and there's plenty of cards that cost a lot less because your Tolarian Terrors, your Gurmag Anglers. There's ways of getting around big the big converted mana cost for some of these things. I just don't think this specific guy is all that great. Yes, it's a 1-drop that can grow, That's cool. Yes, it's a 1-drop that can grow and also can be a removal spell. That's also pretty good. Like, all those things sound really good, but it's also really slow. You drop this on turn 1. When is it ever actually going to get the counter? Not until maybe turn 3, maybe turn 4, probably closer to that. So this thing has been on the table for a few turns. Hasn't really done much. Maybe you even chump blocked with it, and now you don't have it when you are casting the 4-mana spells. And it also has to be non-creature spells when you do that. So forget a lot of the things I just told you. the affinity and the Gurmag Angler and the Thalarian Terrors, none of those actually work. I take all that back. There are still some cards that have affinity things or have reduced costs when you fulfill some kind of condition. You know, Ride's End would be an option there. There's also a black one that cares about how many cards. I think it's just creatures that are in your graveyard. So there are ways, but yeah, I don't know. He's not really my favorite. I'm gonna give him a 2.4. Probably deserves a little bit more than that. You know what? Let's bump it up to 2.6. And we'll call it there. Thanks for joining me on this one. Catch you on the next one.